Thrilled.
I'm still trying to figure out how to ask the zombie question.
Oh, go ahead. Did I see your hand pop up?
Yeah, I just have like one question kind of about the name anarcho-capitalism. And I mean, I'm on board, but I prefer the term agorism. I don't know if you're familiar.
Agorism is a better name.
I think just because, I mean, it's more unknown to people. Like anarcho just kind of...
Right? They get to the anarch part and they're just done. But
capitalism too.
Agorism is, I wholeheartedly agree. That's a better way to respond. But the way to get people to this lecture is say, hey, anarchy and capitalism.
Okay.
But I agree. Thank you. Agorism, look it up. It's good. Not speaking. Yeah, agorism. It's good. Look it up. Hold on. Anyone else got a? Gene hasn't asked a question yet.
I've always been really worried about this in your whole ideal anarchy society is the dissemination of information about companies. Like we've talked about this, where there would be the Better Businesses,
the Better Business Bureau,
something like that.
That'll
rate it and stuff. But there would be you'd have to have so many different entities fact checking this kind of stuff and making sure that companies were telling the truth, and then I don't know, just in general making sure that the criteria that they're rating them on is correct, and it's not a total conspiracy between the rating thing and stuff.
I have the rebuttal.
Okay, he's got a rebuttal. I'll try a rebuttal.
This is the number one thing that leads me towards anarcho-capitalism, but I still don't buy it. One thing that does make me agree with it is the concept that anything that is currently done by the government can be done better by a private institution. So the Better Business Bureau is government, so a private Better Business Bureau would do the same thing, except better because it's not government. I think that's kind of an idea.
Better Business Bureau isn't. I think he just means something like it, federal trade.
I just think that it would be like the Lamborghini businesses and customers that'll be able to afford the businesses that have been rated by this, whereas Joe Schmo on the street will be getting subpar services.
It won't be getting subpar. Do you think you really got gypped when you got a Honda? No, a Honda's a fine car for what I can afford. If I want a Lamborghini, I should try harder, save more, cut back on other things. But when I buy a Honda, it means I value a Honda more than the money I had. If I wanted to save more to get a Lamborghini, it means I value waiting and getting a Lamborghini later more than spending the money on a Honda now. But to answer your question about information, let's just assume, we'll take the worst case, just lifeboat situation that would never happen. But let's say there is no information dissemination. There's no car and trader, there's no internet, there's no blogs, there's no newspapers, there's no nothing. There's no way to get information other than to observe its consequences. Okay? And let's say someone puts a pill out in the market that turns people into zombies. Okay, but it gets them really sick. Let's say this pill turns them sick.
He tried.
Zombie sick. Well, all other people who see the sick person can basically say, wow, what happened to you? Or they'll just know, that person took a pill. In the long run, they may not be able to do it automatically, say, hey, buddy, what happened to you? Well, I took some pills. No, but if they see enough people taking the same drug, the market will eventually correct itself. Even without the dissemination of information, even with a slow dissemination of information, the market will correct. You don't necessarily need fast information transfer. Here we go. Here's a good example that Melvin could probably enjoy. Genes evolve very slowly on an evolutionary level. They evolve very slowly. They're basic blueprints. But so when they respond to their environments, it's very slow. It's generation after generation. But mammals have developed these big old brains in which they can rapidly respond to information very quickly, rather than taking generations. That's just a difference in time. They can either respond very fast, or they can respond very slow. but automatically they will respond due to their environment, or in the capitalist sense, the market. Even without publications. Publications are basically a brain.
I'm not saying anything about publication. I'm just saying that that people who have less means to procure accredited materials or whatever, like you basically will have to pay for the amount of truth that you get out of your product. And I think that people who don't have the means to get or at least like a functioning product or something will be like repeatedly taken advantage of by people in that society, because they will always, they'll be able to pay for bad information.
Let's change your argument from information, which you say you have a hot button issue with, to apples. Let's say that only the richest can afford the best, most organic size of watermelon apples. No, we're saying apples.
Not everybody has a right to a perfect apple, but
no one has the right to perfect information.
Nobody has the right to the ability, but people have a right to know the truth about
No,
things
they
they're
don't.
buying. I think that people should have a right to know about what they're buying.
No, I'm saying, what? First of all, you have to answer, what is truth? Then you have to answer, say, who gets to decide truth? All of these issues ultimately are inconsequential. No one has a right to know how the physical world exists. I mean, it benefits them if they do. In fact, that's why humans evolved. They know how their environments work fairly well. We've split the atom, we know how it works. But it's the same issue as being able to buy a beautiful apple versus a poor person's apple. It's the exact same thing seen in two different contexts. It makes your argument seem absurd when I call it an apple, and you can see where it's absurd. Now just instead of apple, put in Lamborghini information. It's the exact same thing.
No, I mean, so wait, you don't think that consumers have a right to know what's in the products they're buying?
If the consumers want to know what's in their products, then let them do that. But no, there's no right in the sense that if you don't tell them, you should be hurt. That's basically what you say when someone has a right. That if you violate that right, the person who violates the right should be hurt.
They have a right to know that they're not buying a product that'll hurt them.
No. If a consumer doesn't care enough to ask if a product will hurt them, then what?
I don't necessarily think it has to do with caring.
No. Do I have to tell a gun, like someone who's buying a gun, this gun might hurt you?
No, okay. It's like this. Fen, the drug, the weight loss drug, that was really dangerous, that got pulled off the market, okay? So what you're saying is that you're willing to sacrifice the lives of the people who died from taking fen in order to